please don't hear any of this, Brad.
And Dad's like, I got the fuck out of there. I was like, oh man, you didn't partake?
Do you fear death?
Oh, one of the greatest lines of all time.
I could have chopped it. I could have chopped it.
Trumpinator 2020.
Making me 30 sides of red sauce.
Listened to so much. Are you
That needs to, motherfucker.
Alright, episode 63, my friend.
Alright, man. How
Thank
you
you for
doing?
coming on, man.
Appreciate you inviting me,
Finally
man.
made this happen. So yeah, no, your question right before we started, was it hard? I had somebody help me. Caitlin Porter kind of helped me get things started, get kicked off. But it was one of those things, when I decided to finally do it, we did a test one night. We were just going to do a test. So I had my friend Nicole come on, who's got her podcast. I've told you about her. She's going to be my first guest since she'd had me on her show and all that. So,
Okay.
And then my guitar player, we had just had a band practice, so he hung out. So we just did like a test episode. And I was like, that's good. I like that. That's good enough to put out. So
That's
let's just
awesome.
throw that out there as episode 1. But like, I wasn't prepared to start doing it yet, so it was like 2 weeks before we had another podcast. You know, I didn't have
so it was
anybody
kind of like
booked.
spread it out.
I just want to see if it'd work.
Okay.
You know, just to see like, could we capture it? Like, what's it gonna look like? Because I don't want anything fancy, like, you know, graphics or any of that shit. And I don't like it. It did take me a long time to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with the podcast.
Okay.
'Cause at first it's like I wanted to do entertainment, and then, you know, should I do sports or politics? And politics is too negative all the time. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like, why not just do like Joe does, Joe Rogan? You know, just
off
fucking
the
hang
cuff.
with people.
Yes.
Just have a conversation.
That's awesome, man.
To me, that's more interesting than dealing with the same like subject matter over and over.
and
Yeah.
over and over
Yeah,
again.
you're just gonna get, you know, and not to mention, I'd always ask myself, like, is there somebody out there better than me? Like, can I add anything that these
Exactly.
people, you know, there's so many good people in the sports space, the political space. It's like, what can I really add to that? But what I can add is interesting people that I know
That's awesome.
coming on. They're just regular people.
So, when you first started, did you have to set up like you have now, the microphones, the TV,
Ironically,
all this other good
yeah,
stuff?
ironically, I didn't spend a dime because all the mics, mic stands,
Come from band.
interface, is all band shit I already had. So I don't think I'm trying to think if I've actually spent any money for anything. I bought a couple of external hard drives.
Okay.
I already went through a terabyte hard drive.
Oh, wow.
It took me 60 episodes to fill up a terabyte.
To go through that.
But these are 2 hour and they're all video. So these files are massive, you know, each podcast.
And then once you bust them down with the editing and all that good stuff.
You're looking at, I want to say it's almost, is it 30 gigs? It's almost like 30 gigs an episode.
Wow.
A lot.
So
Yeah.
you go to Best Buy or you just kind of get it online?
I got them on Amazon, yeah. So I use them until they fill up. I'll get 2 at a time, and that way. So yeah, once the podcast is done, like for this one, I'll put it into like Clipchamp. I'll throw in the intro,
Okay.
and then I throw in the video. I usually cut out like any bullshit before we get started and anything at the end,
Okay.
and then bounce that down into the finished video and upload it, and that's it, man. Like it's pretty simple.
That's pretty cool. You think about upgrading anything now since you've been doing it for a while? Anything you kind of want to upgrade or maybe bring it up?
Not really, man. I like the way it's going. Just a conversation, simple, nothing fancy. You know,
That's
it's
awesome.
easy to set up, and my time's limited. I got 3 kids, full-time job. You know, like it's, you know, anything extra is more time, is more work.
More time
You know.
taken away for the kids.
Simple's better. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, I like that phrase. You know,
Yeah.
the KISS mentality or whatever. Keep it simple. Just I like that idea. The simpler it can be for me, you know,
No,
it works.
that's great, man. That's
You know.
awesome. And now it's like you said, just 3 or 4 of y'all started off, and y'all been doing reoccurring roles with each other.
Yeah, so she started hers a year before I started mine. I think she started in 2022. Hers is audio only right now.
Okay.
And she's a lot more ambitious than I am. Like, she's got clothing lines, she got merch, she got all that shit.
Oh, so she got a lot of stuff she's selling at the same time.
Yeah, she's. I mean, she's really legitimately like making an effort to do this for a living, whereas I'm more like, I just want to get her. Well, for example, I told you like her friend Sheila passed away a couple weeks ago,
Man, that's sad.
and I've got.
Sorry about that.
No, it sucks, but I'm glad that I've got 4 hours of her on video having conversations with her.
That's those moments you can't.
You know,
you can't
and
get
that's one of the reasons I wanted to do the podcast was to capture moments with people.
and document life.
I never thought anyone would pass this soon. You know, like.
But at least she got a chance to tell her story.
Yeah, we had I had a one-on-one with her a month ago that we sat down. It was kind of funny because her and Nicole have been friends a long time, and they've got their pod she does with Shauna and Sheila.
Okay.
And they've been doing that, for a long time. And I was able to get so I tried to get all three of them on once before, and Sheila couldn't make it, so it was just Nicole and Shauna. And so then, because Sheila was sick or something, so then I had her on by herself because I had never actually met her. So the first podcast I did with her, she shows up, we meet, and like within 5 minutes we start the pod. So
you
we
get
do the
straight to it.
podcast. Yeah. So the only interaction I ever really had with her was on the podcast,
Wow.
or like before and after. The
Mm-hmm.
only times I ever met her was in this room, and then she came back a couple weeks later with the whole crew, and so.
You kind of redid it again.
Well, that was with her friends. So
Okay.
I had her whole crew. I had my buddy Stillwell and my buddy Jason Green out. So we did kind of a group pod. That was the last one. She passed like 10 days after that episode. But it's tragic, especially during the holidays. But at the same time, like, I'm glad I have at least a recording of her laughing and having fun. And
I didn't think about that. Thanksgiving just passed a few days ago.
I know, man.
And
It's wild.
and she didn't get a chance to make it to that. It's just lets you know life is so short, and we just never know.
Does it feel to you like life, like when you're a kid, it seems like time passes so slowly?
Yes.
You're excited
Uh-huh.
about everything, right? And then when you're older, it feels like time you can't slow it down for anything.
You can't slow it down. I remember people used to tell me, "All right, Justin, you're 18, but wait till you turn 20,
Yeah.
and you're gonna see that time rolling. Or wait till you turn 30, and you're gonna be so close to 40. Right now, I'm 36, and I'm just like, man, where did the time go?
Well, it's wild because
Where did it go? And what am I doing with it to impact my family life, and what type of milestones do I need to hit?
Hollywood's getting hit up already.
Oh man, just a little something over there. Oh, let me put that back down. It's my auntie calling me from Memphis. I was setting up a freaking family reunion up here next year. So
Are you?
yeah,
So you grew up in Memphis.
yes sir.
Memphis proper, right?
Mhm.
Like, were you like in the city limit? Like
In
what-
the city limits.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
What was that like? I've not been through Memphis but a couple of times.
And it's
and
the
it was
heart
like-
of the city. Is it's poverty there, but it's also great as well too. So you got your inner city where people struggling to survive and trying to make it and things like that. You got gangs there, you got the whole nine, but also you got the suburbs, and where you can kind of go and escape from all of that. And I was kind of in a mixture of both.
Really?
Growing up, yes. And where I grew up at was in Fraser.
Okay.
It was a outskirts called Fraser in the north side of town, North Memphis. And when I was growing up at that time, it was still really good, still really nice, things like that. Nowadays, that part of town is changed. It's changed, and a lot of my family, when we first moved to Memphis, everybody stayed in Fraser. But now more people have moved out to the east side, to the to Bartlett and things like that.
Because of crime, or
Because of crime. And
really?
things, yes. And that was always the goal when you was growing up. It's like, hey, we're going to East Memphis.
Right, yeah, we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah, we can get
Yeah.
out of here, and we're gonna move around. And I equate East Memphis to more like Rogers. Rogers and
Really?
Pinnacle
Yeah.
side of things like that. So that was always the goal. Like, hey, we're gonna move to East Memphis. They got everything that we
Yeah.
need and want over there. So, yeah,
What was the town you said you grew up in?
Fraser.
Fraser. There's probably still some good people in Fraser, though, right?
Yes,
I
there's
mean,
still
like,
good people in Fraser.
You just had a lot of elements that
It's a lot
not
of
conducive to like raising a family around.
no, not
Kinda that stuff.
nowadays.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to do it. But I still got nieces and nephews there. I still go back. a few times a year to that part of town, but not try to go back all the time.
When you met your wife there, obviously, right?
No, I actually met my wife here.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I met my wife. It was just a coincidence. It was a coincidence how we both was from Memphis.
Okay, that's wild.
Yeah.
That is a coincidence.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I thought she was from Memphis
Yes,
too.
yeah, she's from Memphis.
Pretty close to where you were from?
Yeah, she was just like right down the road. Like my dad lives in Raleigh, and if Raleigh you go down Covenant Pike, you keep straight down Covenant Pike to Summer, and that's where she was at. So it's a coincidence. Probably grew up in like a 10 mile
No
radius.
kidding?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I didn't know. So how'd you end up meeting your wife?
End up meeting my wife actually.
Because you moved up here in 2014?
Yeah, so 2012.
12, okay.
Yes, moved up here in 2012 and college and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's why I met my wife at.
In college?
Yeah, in college. So I went to the University of Memphis for quite some time, and then I kind of just finished off over at the U of A.
I got you. So what was it? Why'd you end up coming to Arkansas? Because you came up here by yourself?
No,
you?
actually, my dad was up here at that time. He ended up moving for work a while back. Back in the when did
He's
he,
back there now. Though.
Yeah, he moved back.
Okay.
He moved back. So I had family that was up here. My cousin Gary, he moved up here back in the day and things like that. So we just happened to migrate up this way.
Why here?
It was just if you was gonna be in Arkansas, this was the only place to be.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
You don't want to be Little Rock. I mean, it's the capital, of course. There's nothing going on
Yeah.
down here. Up here,
A lot of opportunities.
A lot
here.
of opportunities.
Yeah.
Up here is where the money at. Up
Yeah,
here is where you
that's
can
true.
raise a family. Up here is where you can see where you need to go to.
Right.
You know, you don't want to move to Memphis and just go back to a place where no opportunities are at. So
Yeah.
that's why we ended up moving up here, and it just grew. It's been growing ever since I've been.
They got good food in Memphis, though?
Oh yeah, you got the good food, best barbecue in the world.
Is it?
You got Central Barbecue.
Yeah.
Some people like Rendezvous. You got Gus's world famous chicken. That's some of the best stuff that you can ever go eat. You go down on Bill Street, you have a good time. There's plenty of food places down there. And you got Tops Barbecue. You got a lot of stuff. What's his name? Guy Fieri been down to quite a few places down there.
Yeah?
Put him on the map. So, yeah, it's pretty
You ever
good.
hook up with him?
No, I wish I did. But I actually went to his spot that they have in, what is it called? Yeah, what's that little spot in Missouri everybody go with the Tanger outlet malls and things? Branson.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to one of his restaurants, but I was like, man, for him to always boost up food so much, I'm thinking like we go in there, me and my wife, like, hey man, we about to throw down, and it just wasn't that.
It wasn't that.
No, it wasn't that right
That's
there.
wild. I'm trying to think of there's a restaurant we used to go to in Springfield. Is there a Freddy's? Freddy's sound right? You're eating at Freddy's?
Freddy's. Oh, is it like a burger and fry?
Yeah,
yeah.
yes. Dude, I tell you, they got some of the best damn food.
You like
I don't
Freddy's?
know why I like Freddy's so much. I bought my wife's wedding ring from a jeweler in Rogers, and then they closed their Rogers store, and their main store was in Springfield.
Okay.
And so, like, you have an engagement ring or whatever, you got to get it, like, checked so many times to keep the warranty valid on it. So we'd have to go up to Springfield, like, once or twice a year
Okay.
to get the ring checked or whatever. And they had a Freddy's up there, and I just fell in love with it. Springfield's a kind of a neat little town. You ever spend much time in Springfield,
No,
Missouri?
I haven't. I think I may have rolled through there. I mean, how
They
far? It's
got-
like an hour and a half, right? Coming
Might
back
be
from
a couple
Chicago,
hours.
maybe a couple
Yeah.
times.
It might be a couple hours, but it's they got some really good. I love flea markets, dude. They got some killer flea markets up there.
Do they?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing you like to get out of the flea market?
Man, it just depends on kind of what I'm hunting for. Right now, it's the bald eagles. I'm just fucking trying to buy every damn bald eagle I can find.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because flea markets, they got them all. They got everything. But, like, I don't know, it'll just, I'll get obsessed with something, and I'm usually not into the stuff normal people are into.
Oh, man, yeah.
I'm into weird shit. And so, like, I don't know, flea markets to me are like they're almost like a museum.
It is like a time capsule almost.
They got antiques.
Yeah.
They got stuff that go back to when they got toys that your parents would have played with, that kind of
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
It just gives you a mix of Americana going back, as old as you can go. I'll show you an example. You remember when they used to put out these fancy stuff like this? Like, this is a bottle of bourbon.
Whoa.
They
For
just
real?
put out, yeah. Like, that's a bottle of bourbon. You just take the hell out, you can still smell the bourbon in there. But, like, they put out those collectors. They had heritage plates, You remember the collector plates?
Which ones? What kind?
Like here, let me see that. thing.
Okay.
I'll show you another deal here. Did you ever get TV Guide when you were growing up?
Yes. Yes, the
Remember
TV
they
guy.
always advertise stuff like
Yes,
this.
yes,
These
yes.
collector plates.
Oh,
But you
yeah.
can't even eat off of it. It says on the back, don't eat off of this because the paint will poison you.
Yes, my parents got some at their house.
Yeah, it's just a wild thing because I remember, and even as a kid, I was like, who's buying collector plates? Like, what do you do with
People
that?
still have them.
People still got them.
People
but
still
like,
have them.
I just, it's so cool to see stuff like that and just remember.
Remember time. You know, you just remember one time when things was a lot simple, you know.
Yes, and that's what it, I don't know, it's just a calming effect about being in a flea market to me.
Yes.
Because you're living all these paths. NASCAR, like Wheaties boxes with NASCAR drivers on them.
Yes.
Like in the 80s and 90s. You remember
Yeah.
the cereal boxes with celebrities, you know,
Yeah.
that kids were into.
And they had little CD-ROMs in there and things like that so you can play the
later
video
on.
game and things on there.
Yeah, man.
Collector's cards, Wheatie boxes, things
All
like
of it.
that. My dad actually has he has Jordan 45 when he came back wearing the 4.5.
Does he really?
Yes, on the Wheaties box.
Oh.
Never been open. And that's like a
Nice.
collector's item right there.
Yeah.
And then when I was a kid, I had the 4.5 poster. I think he ended up giving it to my little cousin that's down there in Memphis
Yeah?
now. Yes.
It was just so, you know, marketing in the 80s was crazy because there was a law. I'm not super educated on it, but you couldn't advertise action figures to kids. I think was something like they would like a TV show, and Reagan had lifted that ban. So you got all kinds of action figure based cartoons like He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe.
He-Man.
Right, so those shows were basically advertisements
It
because
was.
the action figures came 1st, and then they started making a show about the action figures, which
Yeah.
is basically advertising. And then when the commercial came on, you show them the toys.
Exactly.
Brilliant marketing, right?
It was.
So kids grew up just getting bombarded with, you got to have all this cool shit. You got to
Exactly.
collect all of it.
Just like the little wrestlers like The Rock or something back in the day. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
If you was watching wrestling, then like you said, right when wrestling go on, it cuts a commercial and it shows like the little action figures that you can wrestle with and have
Hell
the whole
yeah,
little
man.
thing.
WrestleMania. Were you a wrestling guy?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. At
Did you
first,
really?
Until my cousin told me, "Hey, Justin, it's fake." And then I was just so naive. I'm thinking it's people that's over there getting knocked out and everything like that. And actually, being from Memphis, Jerry the King Lawler is from Memphis, so I used to get up on Saturday mornings and watch it and go. You can go down there and watch what's his name, Zedzilla, I believe, back in the day. You can go watch them on a Saturday morning.
No
And
shit.
yes, and me and my brother Junior, we used to go watch them, and it was awesome. And
How old were you when somebody told you it was fake?
It's probably like 98, 99. So I was
What year were you born again?
88. So I'm
88.
probably like 11 years old when somebody told me.
Yeah.
And then
When's your birthday?
August 31st
August 31st.
of 88.
So you're like a couple months older than my sister. She's 88. Okay.
And when I seen that and we was looking, I was like, oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. And we actually watched it, and you could see somebody barely like getting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man. And after that, it just threw it off on me. I couldn't watch
Did
it.
it?
Again. I couldn't watch it again.
See,
Just like somebody telling you Santa Claus ain't real, and you realize your dad is the one under there putting under the Christmas presents under the Christmas tree.
see, I'm coming to that. I'm coming up against that with the NFL right now, feeling like it's rigged.
Yes.
I tell you what, this Kansas City season has.
Oh man.
I
Hey.
tell you what, dude, I've seen more shenanigans in their favor than I've ever seen, and no Chiefs fans will admit anything's going on. And it's like, you remember when the fucking Patriots cheated all the time and everybody knew it, but
Yo,
nobody
like
denied it.
Deflategate and all that stuff.
Deflategate, Spygate, all of it.
Yeah,
but
but-
it's like,
It never. I seen a lot of that, but to me, Brady's still the GOAT. Even if whatever came inside his favor, that's like the highest of the highest you can get.
well, it's like I had this argument with my son. I'm like, does deflating a ball make you read the receiver any better?
No.
Does it make you react any differently? It might be a little more comfortable to hold, but it doesn't make you think differently.
Because if you getting hit, you getting hit. You gotta have
you
people
still
that,
have to make the
You
reads, the
still
check
got-
downs.
yeah.
You got to make the play. I don't see. I mean, is it against the rules, yeah, but is it a game change? Wouldn't think so.
And then when he goes down to Tampa Bay and he go do the same thing, the very next year,
Yeah.
he's that good. I mean, we can't deny it. He's that good. He's that great. Not even good, just
Yeah.
great. He's the GOAT. That's
I'm in
what
a
I
weird
think.
place because I've hated the Chiefs since I was a young boy because
Mhm.
they're in Denver's division,
Mhm.
right? And of course, also with sports, you don't hate anyone, right? It's just a rival.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody on the Chiefs. They're probably all good fellas, right? But that sports is kind of a weird deal where you have these rivalries
Yes.
based on really nothing.
A whole
Right?
lot of
They're in my division, therefore they're an enemy,
Yes.
you know? And so I just grew up kind of hating the Chiefs, but I love Andy Reid. I love Mahomes. I love, I love the guys on that team. You know, they're
Reid.
fun guys. They're good guys. I think the organization is paying off some refs, though.
I'm pretty sure they are.
I don't think anyone on the team or the coaching staff has anything to do with it.
I think it's deeper than that. Probably the NFL is.
Yes.
Because the NFL knows what's the ratings. Okay.
Yes.
You know,
And that Taylor Swift shit was brilliant.
every time cutting the camera straight to her. I mean, she's awesome and not taking anything away from her, but
Yeah.
she's not out there catching the ball. She's not out there throwing the ball.
And so to me, as an NFL fan, it's like that's a distraction.
But they know they know they getting more eyes on there.
Exactly.
A lot of young ladies gonna be like, I love Taylor Swift.
Right.
So
And she's dating Travis Kelce, so
Yeah,
now
Travis-
I love football. So why isn't, if you're Roger Goodell, why would you not maximize that?
Exactly.
Get those eyeballs on it.
you keep cutting that camera.
It's brilliant.
over. Exactly. So you know who's gonna be the if she's over there wearing a Kelsey jersey, a million girls are gonna be wearing it too.
It makes
Sales
sense.
up.
Yeah.
A lot of people gonna be like, who they wasn't in with their dad watching the game now.
Yeah.
Now they're in there watching the game, or they with their friends. We
Sure.
you know, it just bring in whole new eyes and everybody tuning in.
And it brings in younger people.
Bring in a younger audience.
A younger
it keeps
audience.
It keeps getting younger and keeps getting younger.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's brilliant.
yes.
But as somebody who's a fan of the sport,
Mhm.
seeing that kind of stuff is a distraction from the sport.
It's
you know,
definitely is.
I don't care about Taylor Swift. I'm not watching the game for Taylor
Exactly.
Swift. And so I already am not a huge fan of the Chiefs. And then you start seeing all this nonsense, and it's like, man, it's just a distraction from the game. I don't have any ill will toward Taylor Swift.
Mhm.
I'm just tired of it. And I've got a right to be
Yeah.
annoyed by it.
Yes.
You know, but I also can acknowledge it's brilliant marketing.
Yeah, she don't have a jersey on out there.
But the NFL knows that they don't care who watches it. They don't care if you're a football fan
They
or
don't.
even know the rules, as long as you're watching.
As long as you're watching.
And they-
ass and
yeah.
seats. That's all they care
yeah,
about.
it's brilliant.
You know, that's all they care about. And then you get more people who think they're going to get a glimpse of her walking through.
Yeah,
They're going to buy a ticket.
sure. But think about merchandising.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kansas City. I mean, Dallas has always been the number one merchandising team
Yes.
forever. Kansas City comes along, and I mean, shit. Growing up in this area, it's Dallas country, right?
Yeah.
Jerry Jones went to Arkansas.
Mhm.
He was on that national championship team.
Yes.
So everybody's Dallas fans because he's got the tie to Arkansas. You hardly see any Dallas shit around here anymore. It's all Chiefs shit.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask you, why is that? And do you think now that you're going to see more Broncos stuff now that, you know, Walmart is home based here? They just bought the
Yeah,
Broncos. I'm surprised we're not seeing a flood of that here.
really, yeah.
And Walmart not corner the market and be like, hey, no, we're not selling none of this Chiefs paraphernalia over here. We're pushing nothing but the Broncos gear. You know, you would think so.
No,
'cause
I
they
see where you're
cornered the
going
market
from.
on
Well,
everything.
their ultimate goal is to sell as much as they can,
Mhm.
and Chiefs stuff's going to sell around here because we're close to them. We're actually closer to them than we are Dallas.
Yes.
You know, so I don't know. That is kind of weird. I mean, that Walmart's involved with the Broncos, but that's just so far away. I don't know. I don't know if you start seeing merch. I think that's all very regional.
It's kind of like a regional thing right there.
Yeah, and we're so close to Kansas City.
3
But it's just,
hours.
it's just interesting to me that everybody's allegiance switched from Dallas to Kansas City because they started winning.
Yeah,
you know?
because they started winning. That was kind of like as soon as Andy Reid, they had it. What was his name? Like Griffin III. They had him over there, and we thought he was going to be the next big thing, but something happened to him. And
What, RG3?
RG3, that's him.
What, after he left Washington? Did he go to Kansas?
I thought he was at Kansas City first, and then he went. So maybe I'm wrong.
I thought Washington. That's been a few years, though. Because I remember RG3 was at Washington with Mike Shanahan,
Mm-hmm.
the Broncos coach.
Mhm.
and they had paired up, and it did not go well, and that all kind of fizzled out. I don't remember who he got drafted by, but I remember that fiasco with him at Washington.
Yeah.
You hear they're bringing back the Redskins, possibly?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I've heard a lot.
No more Commanders?
Apparently not.
They're bringing it on back.
But see, it's a weird deal. Like, well, what's your thought on it? What's your thought on getting rid of the Redskins name?
Look, man, it's hard to tell somebody what to be offended by. You get what I'm saying? If it's the
Right.
You know, I'm not in. I mean, I guess I somewhat is from family. From my great grandfather, he was like Indian or something. But I don't know enough about it to really speak on it.
Right.
You know, far as on that, I don't know if they're offended. I can't tell them not to be offended.
But who is offended?
You
Is
know.
it Native Americans or is it liberal white people who are offended on behalf of other people?
I'm not really sure.
Because the family that's pushing back the most on it is the family of, so that logo was designed and based on a real tribal chief.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they remove the logo, they remove his work.
But maybe calling it red skin, maybe
Yeah.
the logo is great. But, you know, because I don't think that I'm pretty sure they're not.
Redskins kind of derogatory.
Yeah, your red skin. You know,
Yeah.
the burnt it's burned on your red skin. You know,
Yeah.
And maybe if they adapted that and been like, okay, yeah, I'm a redskin. Just kind of how like some white people like to say, hey, I'm a redneck. I'm proud. I got plenty of friends that say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a redneck. That's who I am. That's how it is.
Yeah.
And they accept that, and that's their term of endearment to each other.
Sure.
And maybe if it was the same way, and they're saying, hey, I'm a redskin, maybe you get what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're trying to say.
You know-
I see both sides of the argument.
You know what I mean?
You know, I'm always dancing on the side of conservatism and liberalism because I'm very liberal in a lot of things. Well, I love freedom. Let people do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Stop regulations. Stop. You know, if you fuck up, you're gonna get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You know, within the bounds of the law,
Mhm.
people ought to be free. But at the same time, you know, I get it. You know, certain words
Yes.
over time, you know, become offensive and they get phased out. You know, we live in a polite society. But I also love to preserve history.
Yeah.
And that organization has been around for a long time.
For a long time.
You know. And, well, it was like we were talking about the Song of the South.
Mm-hmm.
So that Disney movie.
Mm-hmm.
Disney deleted it from the catalog
Mhm.
because the way it portrayed slaves
Mhm.
was not horrible, right?
Mhm.
So, because it's a family movie. I mean,
Mhm.
you're not going to show people getting beat and whipped in a family movie anyway.
Yeah.
But the actor that played Uncle Remus, you know, his family has said that was his favorite role.
Mhm.
And he loved playing that. Well, they deleted his performance.
Now I get what you're saying. Now, if he's actually benefiting off that, and that's what he want, let it ride, right?
Yeah.
But if the Indians, if we're going back to that,
Yeah.
if they're not benefiting off of it,
Yeah.
and people just using their name and I mean using their image,
Sure.
likeness and image,
Sure.
and calling them redskin, and they're not benefiting off anything, then
See, that's a good question. Did the family get residuals from the logo use?
yes, that's what
If
I'm.
that's the case, then they got screwed.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if they were getting paid for the logo,
Yeah.
that guy. I don't know.
Now, if that was the case and they making money off that, let it ride. You know, and if they're okay with it, like you said, the Uncle Remus guy, hey, he was able to get his story out. That was
Yeah.
the best thing that he played.
Yeah,
Things of that nature, something he can show his grandkids, and that's what he likes.
sure.
Then let it ride. You know, that's what I think. If you able to profit off your pain,
Yeah, sure.
then let it ride. But when you're not able to profit off your pain and somebody else
Okay.
is, then I can kind of see why you just like, you know,
No, that makes sense to me.
you know what I mean?
That makes sense to me. Yeah, I just part of me, the conservative part of me, is a little uncomfortable with going back and deleting things in history. Now, this is a different topic than the Redskins name change.
Mhm.
But when you go back and censor movies, you're fucking with history.
Yeah, you are.
You know, if you delete a scene in a movie
Mhm.
because it was offensive, it's offensive now. I don't think you can hold the past to today's standards.
No, that's a fact.
You know what I mean?
That's a fact. I think that you could, hey, if it's a Disney movie and they don't want people in Disney seeing that, Okay, cut that out. I don't know, but Disney owns everything, so they owns the whole rights to it. So I was getting ready to say maybe you sell it at a rated R version, so the kids not seeing it.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I feel like if he wanted it there, keep it there.
Well, I think he's passed away now, but his family was proud of that movie.
Well, if they
and
was proud
felt
of
like
it, let
he
him
was
keep
getting-
eating off of it.
Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. Because now if it's not there, he can't. Their family can't make
Can't
any
make
money.
any
of it.
money,
I get you. I get you. I mean, it's a complicated thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like if a movie came out in 1969,
Yes.
right, and it portrays like the ways whites treated blacks back then,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Not okay today.
No.
But should we erase that?
No. I mean,
No,
you
that was
gotta
part of our history.
It's a part of history, and it's the same part of history was. If we're gonna keep that in there, we got to keep. I mean, I don't keep up with politics like that.
Yeah.
But you got to keep. What is it called now when they're trying to take out the things from school of what is it called? You probably know more than me, Brad, on that. When they're trying to take out the history of the slaves and things like
Yeah, yeah.
you got to keep that in there too. Then
We need to know where we came from so we can learn and get better.
that's what I'm saying.
And if you're deleting all the bad things we did,
Yes.
and just making us perfect throughout time, then that's a false
yes,
to me.
so I get what you're saying. So you got to keep everything so we can all learn from it.
Agreed.
We got to keep everything in there so we can all learn from it.
It was like Tropic Thunder. You've seen that movie, I'm sure.
No, I haven't.
No. Okay. Ben Stiller, Jack Black.
I know Ben Stiller is. I know Jack.
Robert
Black.
Downey Jr.
All
seen it.
A-list celebrities,
Okay.
especially Robert Downey. I grew
So
up
basically, it's a movie about these actors going to film a Vietnam movie.
Yes, sir.
Right. So it's a movie about Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the actors, Robert Downey Jr., is a
Mm-hmm.
character actor. Like he's a, what do you call those actors that dive in? Like
Method.
method act. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. He's a method actor in the movie, right?
Mhm.
So he's cast to play a black dude.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
Oh,
in,
the blackface.
he's
thing.
in blackface the whole movie.
Okay, and that's old, right? That's super.
It's like early 2000s, I think.
I thought it was okay.
Is it older? I don't know what year it came out. We can look it up. But like, should you delete that movie, or should you still be able to make a movie like that today? See, I thought the movie was funny.
If I don't know if he want to make a movie like that today, because the times is not what it is, right?
Right.
So he probably wouldn't want to get seen in a big. And who actually did the blackface again? Robert Downey.
Robert Downey.
But would he want to do that?
Well, he was on Rogan talking about everybody that did that movie has defended it and
Okay.
basically said, yeah, you can't do it now, but it's still a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, does it offend you that he was in blackface? Just making fun of like the whole, because like to me it kind of was making fun of the whole thing about what you can and can't do.
It to me, I definitely, because I know the history behind blackface.
Yeah.
Blackface was when black people couldn't even be actors and
Yeah.
things like that. So you painted it.
Yeah.
Whoever was, I'm just saying white people, whoever was acting
Yeah.
right, painted their face black to be that. To me, it's never okay. To me, it was never.
Yeah.
It wasn't even okay then in 2000.
Right.
Maybe it was 1950, 1960, and those were the times. And he was.
I'm not
playing
saying
in
it was
that-
ever okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying, was that movie okay to kind of make fun of that whole thing, looking at it from a comedic aspect?
I would say, I'm always say no. Just because I'm just always gonna say no on that one.
To blackface.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm gonna always say no on that.
I don't, cause I hear so many white people voice off about it that it's
Yeah.
like, to ask somebody who's black, like,
Yeah,
what is your opinion of it?
Yeah.
That means more to me than hearing what white people say about it.
I'm always saying no on that because
Yeah.
that was a time when black people couldn't play. So the next person, or if you did play, you was a butler. Or if you did play, you was shucking and jiving and being somebody else.
Stereotyped
Yeah,
as certain things, throughout time, yeah.
Throughout time, so
Absolutely.
I know what that means. So I would say it's never okay. I'm surprised they was even early 2000. It was a different place and time, but I'm surprised they even did that back in the day. To be honest with you, in the A-list
But
celebrity
I don't think it was any malice toward black people, though.
Mhm.
I thought they were just poking fun at method acting.
Yeah.
To like, he literally changed the pigment of his skin,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like, it was just how ridiculous method acting could get.
Yeah.
To me, that was the joke.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily making fun of black people.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I'm just surprised. Like even in the early 2000s,
Yeah.
that they, you
It
know,
was
a studio,
controversial then.
yeah, a studio wouldn't even kind of let that out.
Right.
You know, maybe in a documentary, I
Right.
can see, but like the straight,
All right.
I don't know.
I
maybe
get that.
You give it a minute. You give it a
Well, that's why I'm asking you, because I feel like so many white people are out running their mouths about how black people feel, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Why don't we ask a
Exactly.
black person
And-
instead of having you run your mouth?
exactly. But I'm always say that's a, to me that's a.
But would you delete the movie?
I mean, it should have been. It should never came out to begin with. That's what I'm thinking. But if it's out, it's out. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
That's what I'm thinking. You
I
can't
want
delete
you
it.
to. I want you to watch it,
Okay.
and then I want to get your opinion.
Okay.
Just so you like, I want to get your thoughts on like after having seen it.
So, okay. So it was satire. So that's okay.
I mean, it's so you got Ben Stiller, who's like an action hero, and then you got the method actor, you got Jack Black, who's doing his thing. You got a couple other actors in there, but they're all sent into. I think they actually really went over to the real Vietnam, and they're filming a movie, but then one of the actors gets kidnapped by like the Vietnamese. And so then the actors have to like really go in to save this guy,
Okay.
right? Like a Vietnam mission.
Yes,
so
sir.
the movie turns into like a real Vietnam like rescue mission kind of a thing.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway,
dope.
but no, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it because I get where you're coming from. A lot of times I'll see both sides of the argument, but it's like it's not necessarily important to me.
I get what you're saying. Like if it's out, it's out, right?
Right.
You can't go back and delete it.
But I think the movie's funny, and I don't think the movie is degrading to black people. I think they're making fun of method acting more than they are like making fun. And there's also other black characters in the movie that are funny,
okay.
that are just in the movie that are just damn funny. I think Chris Tucker's in it. It might not be Chris Tucker. There's I need to look at that. Let's see who else in that.
And that was going to be my next question. Like who was the?
So Ben Stiller wrote and directed it.
Okay, he's A-listed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like part of me feels like a lot of the stuff that happened, instead of celebrating how far we've come, to say, man, look where we're at now.
No, that's a fact.
It's let's erase all the bad shit we did. We've always been in a good,
Yeah,
you know
you-
what I mean? It's like, let's erase all the horrible shit we did to black people over the years and just forget about it. Well, no, that needs to be in the story because that shows progress.
And I understand. I definitely get what you're saying about that. I can't forget tip of my tongue. But if we keeping that in, they need to keep that inside the schools as well too.
Yeah?
That's the way I believe. Don't,
Okay.
You know, don't try to erase that out of the schools either. You know,
Sure.
You know, you got to keep that in the schools and
Yeah,
not just
100%.
because hey, I don't want my kids to grow up thinking somebody did anything.
Right.
Anything and make their ancestors. How you think? I remember being in class. If that's the case, I remember being in class and I'm the only black person in class, and
Sure.
and I'm sitting here watching Little Rock 9 or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, you like, this is some crazy stuff, and everybody, and eventually everybody started looking at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody just started.
No, I can't imagine. Like,
You-
I can't imagine what it's like how you grew up.
You,
No,
you know what I mean? And then you.
Well, this was in Memphis when you were at school?
Yes, yeah. Because
So there weren't a lot of black people in your school?
like I said, I moved on. It was two sides of town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You was in the Fraser part, and then when you want to go to East Memphis, that's the place kind of where you want to go be at, and
Right.
when you're moving on up in society and
Just
making
not as many
no
black people in that side of the town.
in that side of the town, and you go into school, and then you're watching that, and you're like, man, it's uncomfortable, but it's the truth. It's the most uncomfortable truth. So
Yes.
you got to keep that in there. You know what I mean? You got to
Agreed.
keep that in there. And we cannot just keep it in there because we don't want to say, hey, we don't want our kids to
Right. Know how horrible things were.
how horrible
but,
things.
But then you're painting a false history.
Exactly.
Well, what was it like for you at school? Did you experience racism toward you?
Not really. I experienced more when I moved up here, to be honest with you. And I'm gonna tell you.
Are
that.
you serious?
Yeah, I experienced it more when I moved up here.
Really?
You know, down there's more of a melting pot.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
one of my best friends, Eric, he was white. Of course, majority of my friends was black and things like that. But I had a lot of white friends, Asian, Hispanic, whoever. I'm just, you know, one of my best friends that passed. Remember I told you about it?
Yeah.
He's a white guy that's from up here. So
Yeah.
I'm always been a person to mingle around and get along with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that never happened down there, because you know when I came up here, I remember it's the craziest part about it.
So when you moved up here in 2012,
Yes.
which is 12 years ago, and you're 36 now.
Mhm.
So you're in your 24 somewhere
Yes.
there. Okay. So
Yeah.
you move up here. You grew up in Memphis. You're moving up here. You're 24 years
Mhm.
old. Still a kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you, I remember one thing that happened. It's a couple things that happened. I remember I had a Crown Vic,
Okay.
83 Crown Vic.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, 83 Crown Vic.
Hell yeah.
My girlfriend, which is my wife now,
Yeah.
my brother was driving the car. I had a friend that was on the other side, and they was gonna drop me off.
When is this? Right when you move up here?
Yes.
Around. Okay.
Yes, and I guess I don't know what happened. I don't even think the tail light was out. Matter of fact, it wasn't out. We got pulled over in it, and the cop was like, "Hey, let me." Well, he said, "Who car is it?" I said, "It's my car." And, you know, I told him. He's like, "All right." Told my brother Mike. It's a real story. You can ask my wife this. He said, "So Mike, well, just give him the registration insurance out of the glove compartment, because I'm sitting in the back seat." My wife.
Yeah.
He give him that, and then he was like, "Okay, it's your car, right?" I said, "Yeah." He was that. Well, give me your let me get your license. Let me get your license. You ask me for the license, I go in my back pocket. Move again, I'm gonna shoot you. Swear to God, this is real. This is real stuff. I'm like, you just asked me for my driver's license. Now you tell me you're gonna shoot me.
Right.
This is the fact. This what happened. You know what I mean? Was able to get outside of that. And I was like, hey, are you gonna let me reach for my
Yeah.
driver's license?
Yeah.
I was able to give it to him. We got out of that. I remember it was a time I'm going to my dad's house. I told you my dad had stayed up here. My wife with me at this one. Wife can vouch for this one as well too. I don't know. Maybe I was driving slow or something like that. But we was on a residential street, so I couldn't be driving that slow. Maybe I'm doing 30. This guy, I don't know what he was on. So I make it to my house. I was driving. I got the same Camry that I have then. Make it to my dad's house. I actually dropped my little brother off over there. This guy follows me to the house. I'm every N-word in the book. My wife an N-word lover. I'm everything. It's all this other stuff that comes.
Seriously?
I swear to God. You know, I swear to God. Not making anything up. Alan, it's a real guy. I can call him right now. It's a white guy. Stayed across the street from my dad. And Alan came out and told him, hey, man, we don't do this type of stuff over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, because he was so loud with the commotion, he went to the truck to go get a bat. And I had to defend myself. I went to my dad's house and got his pistol. I said, man, if you don't get the hell off my property, then something else going to go on.
Yeah.
Called the police. I guess they did whatever they had to do with it. So I seen more of that up here than I ever did, you know.
You still see it?
I mean, that's what I seen then, yeah.
Well, when was that?
That was, man, that had to be about 2012, 2013.
Do you still experience it now?
Not to that level. You know, you see slide things and things like that, but that was some of the worst stuff, you know, because at that point, you know, you have a cop come ask you for your license registration. You try to give it to him, so he gonna shoot you. Move again, he gonna shoot you.
Yeah.
Then you go to your house for no apparent reason. Some guy just following you to the house. You every N-word in the book. Your wife is every N-word in your book. You know, my neighbor had to come out. My dad's neighbor had to come out.
But like,
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
I don't think that's indicative of the general public, though.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Those are assholes.
Those are assholes. But you asked me if I ever seen any of that.
Yeah.
And I said I seen it more up here.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that was.
Are those the only two instances, or is it?
It was another time too, man.
Damn, son.
It was another time too, and this before I even moved up here all the way. Because my dad was up here at this point. I think I'm like 18, 19 or something like that, and I'm sitting outside. I'm standing outside. I'm just trying to get some air, stretching. Because you probably see me doing this the whole time too. My neck kind of hurts and things like that. Sometimes I do that because my neck hurts. I'm outside. See this Cadillac just rolled past a couple times. I think it was a Cadillac. And I guess, and the police may have seen it. And I don't know. I just got up out the bed and came and stretched out. Police don't, instead of falling in the Cadillac and see what he keeps circling around for, he just come to me. You know, hey man, what you got? You got any? Swear to God. You know, you got any? And pat me down. I'm like, man, yeah. So crazy stuff, man. And so I see.
That's really disappointing to me.
It is, man. So
And I hate that for you, dude. I guess I just don't. Kind of in a bubble, you know.
Yeah.
Like I just don't observe that stuff. I don't know anybody who is racist. Well, older, like much older people, you know, like grandparents' age who grew up in a different time. Like people my age, I just don't know personally anyone who has a problem with anybody because of the color of their skin or who they're having sex with. Well, that's a different one. You know, you got a lot of right wing people who think that anybody's gay is an abomination, which I don't believe that. But I don't know. I hate to hear that, man.
yeah, man. But I don't. But one thing I don't do is I don't sit here and try to judge everybody else off of one incident.
Sure.
That's what I don't.
You don't hate white people because of a
not.
couple assholes.
No,
That's
of
good.
course not.
Because I feel like there are a lot of black people who do hate white people because of some bad experiences.
Yeah, so
or vice versa.
Or vice versa.
Whites that don't like blacks because of a couple
But-
experiences with individuals.
Yeah, you got you know
Yeah.
you got to judge everybody by the way you meet them, right? So if a person is good to you, that's the way you.
Everybody's an individual. That's the thing.
That's a fact.
You know, stereotypes can be true widely. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like-
but I kind of have to try to. I try not to. I don't even go on the stereotypes really. I don't really even know too many of them. To be honest with you.
Well, no, but I mean, I'm just like, for example, I think black people are more athletic than white people. I think that's a fact.
Man, but you can go. I'm not that athletic, to be honest with you.
Not all black people are athletic,
yeah.
but when you get to the height of it,
Yeah.
dude, I've played against guys that all black teams, dude. They hit harder, they ran faster. They fucked us up.
Yeah,
it was
and-
unlike anything I'd ever experienced.
And a lot of time they doing that. I mean, and it's probably genetically as well too. But a lot of times,
Yeah.
people trying to make it out of that situation. So
Yes.
they going.
They're
as hard-
motivated.
They're motivated.
They're
They're going
motivated
hard
to
as
get
they
the hell out.
whatever situation they in. You know, hey, this is my. A lot of people like, man, this is my only way out.
Yes.
So if you up here and everything's peaches and cream and nice and things like that, maybe the people down the road don't have it like that. So they taking everything serious.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not really.
Right.
I'm trying to knock this person the hell out, but I'm trying to. I don't know who's watching me. So whoever eyes is on me, I'm going as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Every single
time.
every single time.
So you think it may have more to do with just a desperation of,
So, a lot of times
and a focus
Yeah.
on this might be my only way out.
This might be
because
my
of
only way
poverty
out.
or whatever.
if it's poverty or whatever,
and they're more motivated.
and you're more motivated. You know, because that's the way you gotta look at it. Because you may be working out harder than the next person.
Yeah,
Where everybody else come up here, high schools up here got everything.
Yeah.
Nike gloves,
Yeah.
Razorback gear that people giving them, Tyson sponsorships, Walmart sponsorships, all these things is
Yeah.
going on. But if you might go down the road somewhere in Arkansas, and that could be anybody. It could be even some white kid that's down there.
Yeah.
That's like, man, like, I ain't got nothing. Look, man, you know, y'all got all this going on up here. I don't think we got is just straight skill. We got to operate off straight skill.
Right.
And, you know, and things like that. We don't have all this flashy stuff. So when we got to go in there, we got to prove a point.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I think about it sometimes as well, too. I'm not saying it. Of course, I'm pretty sure it's genetically and things like that,
Yeah.
man. But a lot of that stuff is person going the
Dude,
hardest they possibly
that
can.
makes a lot of sense to me.
You know what I mean?
People are afraid of these conversations, but
Yeah.
the only way to learn is to have them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't have a lot of opportunities to ask somebody like yourself, like,
Yeah.
how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, but I think that's what it is. People may be training a little bit harder.
Yeah.
You know, man, hey man, I got to look the best as I possibly can. So when I go out there on that
Yeah.
field, I got to train as best as I possibly can. I can't half-ass because a lot of stuff is not given to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have all these opportunities to go to these. What's it? 4A school. I'm not that great in what.
Yeah.
Was it 4A schools? A lot of those schools down there maybe 1A, 2A,
Yeah,
3A.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know they don't have all the bells and whistles.
Not at all. Yeah.
So they down there, they really getting it in. They really out there training.
Yeah,
They really
yeah.
out there doing that.
Sure.
They trying to get it where they need to get it from.
That's an interesting perspective. I hadn't really. Yeah, that's awesome to see it from that cross angle.
Mm-hmm.
That's some cool insight there. How do you feel like racism is right now in this country? You better or worse than it was 20 years ago?
It's kind of, I don't know, man. I really don't. Feel like things has gotten better.
Do you?
I feel like things has gotten better, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say it's over. You know, because it's not. I even seen things with my daughter Aaliyah going to school. You know,
Stop. With your daughter?
my daughter.
People being racist to your daughter?
I remember.
Dude, how do you keep your cool?
And this is kindergarten, first grade, and we had to move her out of that school because, and she go to it like we said. We just talking. They're pretty good school districts up here. So she going to school. Girl, keep picking on her, keep picking on her, keep picking on her, keep fucking with her. Leah just said, finally, she just,
Was that because she was black? Because she was new?
I don't know what. Leah started the school. The school was a brand new school, so Leah had.
So everybody was new.
Everybody was new.
Okay.
So, the girl keep picking on her after school program, whatever. Leah I always tell my daughter, my kids, hey man, document it so you tell somebody what's going on. Somebody keep picking with you, keep picking on you. Eventually, I'm from the old school. My dad say, hey man, somebody you tell the teacher, you tell a grown up. Somebody keep fucking with you, you're gonna have to go ahead and handle your business.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have to go ahead and handle it eventually. And that's what my daughter did, and she told people, and everybody just blew it off. So she finally did. We go up to the school, whatever. And first thing I come in there, because I guess I'm working at Tyson, corporate guy, of course, you know what I mean, the way I'm dressed when I come in there, the way my wife dressed, she corporate as well. So they looking at us. I guess they probably wasn't looking at us to be like, the way how we look and present ourselves. You know what I mean? And first thing she said, well, her mother is nothing but a poor white lady. Like, what the hell that got to do with anything?
That doesn't excuse the behavior.
That don't excuse. Now, if we just gonna talk about kid on kid, let's talk about that. She put the race in there. I didn't put nothing in there.
Right.
So then it came me to look like, why is that even come? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, why is you even?
Yeah.
And this is the principle.
Yeah. That's
she's nothing but a poor. I'm like, okay, what do that got to do with anything?
Dude, as a dad, race aside, if somebody was fucking with my kid or picking on my kid, I can't imagine your level of just...
Yeah.
Because you don't get protective over more than a kid, right?
Much more than your kids.
And all you want is for your kids to be happy, healthy,
Yeah.
and have a smooth experience.
Exactly.
And that's unnecessary.
Exactly.
Kids are so fucking mean, too.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's just human beings.
Mm-hmm. And it's anybody. It could be anybody.
The kids are some of the meanest people on earth.
Yes,
man.
they are.
Really
they say
are.
the rudest things, say the meanest things, say anything and that's why you got so many kids now that's not mentally stable to handle what's going on.
Well, what do you think? I didn't intend for this whole podcast to be heavy. I want to have some fun, so
No,
we
man,
we can ride out of this. But I do want to get your thoughts on this stuff because, especially in Northwest Arkansas, we're in kind of a little bubble up here.
Yeah.
It is largely white, conservative area, but the people I know personally don't have an issue with those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so it does surprise me to hear you say that you've experienced it to that level, and to that level is shocking.
Yeah, that level. It's
like
the same,
nobody should have to go
it's
through
the
that.
same type of levels that you see on TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. When if you see Trayvon Martin getting followed home,
Right.
So when a person asks me something different, I can relate to that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I got followed home. I didn't do anything to nobody.
Sure.
I got followed home to my dad's house. I didn't come over here. I went over here exchanging the birds with the guy when he was riding all up on me. Because usually the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to walk away anyway. That's what I try to do. I try to walk away, get away from confrontations mostly as I possibly can. And then
Sure.
going about my business. But the guy followed me home.
Yeah.
So, what happened to Trayvon Martin? You getting followed home.
Yeah.
So now when somebody get the best of you, shoot them. So that could the same thing happen to me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then if you talking about a cop, mess with, hey, don't move, I'm gonna shoot. So when I see these things on TV, it's not a far cry from what really happens in real life. You get what I'm saying? What happens in real life. Now, I'm not saying every situation is like that, but I'm saying I know how these type of things go.
Yeah.
I was in those situations.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was in those type of situations.
Well, I think just to be 100% honest with you, I think a lot of people like me think racism is mostly gone because we don't witness it.
Yeah, because you don't have to witness it.
Because
right?
we don't have to.
You don't have to witness
So when I'm talking to you here and hearing this, I'm like,
it. Yeah. And
I thought we were better than this.
And honestly, I still, if I'm walking my dog, if it's early in the morning, if it's cold, like how somebody else can throw their hoodie on and keep it going, I don't want nobody over here saying anything to me or thinking anything. So I take my hoodie off when I'm walking. You know what I mean?
Really?
I do, because
you don't want to give the appearance.
I don't want to get appearance. I don't want to become another statistic out there. You know what I mean? Of somebody, oh, I was scared for my life, or somebody over here messing with me. I stay in a nice neighborhood myself. So now I'm subconsciously, you know what I'm saying? All right, man, it's cold out here. I don't even put my hoodie on. I'd rather put a little cap on like this, a little Scully or something like that. But I can't go put my jogging suit on and walk my dog early in the morning. If I got
because of the appearance.
Because of the appearance of what the, like you said, the stereotypes. You know what I mean? Because you still got to make it back home.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm teaching my son, man. You got to make it back home. You know, that's the main thing. I can't fight from you when you're gone.
It really is a different experience.
You know,
growing up black, growing up white in this country, and man, I don't know. I feel like there's so many people in politics that kind of stoke the fire a little bit, when in actuality most people are just cool. But obviously you've had experiences where people aren't cool.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think we get out of this? Like, what's it going to take?
Man, all that stuff just changes from home. You know what I mean? It changes from home. I had a nephew.
Is it taught? I mean, racism has to be taught.
Of course it's taught.
It has to be.
It has to be. You ask me now, I got a nephew up here. I don't want to put his name out.
Yeah.
But his mama called me, and because my brother, he lives in Texas, so he's not always able to be here and whatnot like that. And so his mom called me. It's like, Justin, I need you to talk to your nephew. So I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, man, you know, I looked through his phone, and he's letting people call him any type of names. He goes to like a private school around here and things like that. And I don't want to put the school name, the school out here, but it goes to like a private school. And hey, you my good slave. You good. Not lying. I don't know if his mama still got the text messages. And if I get them for you later on.
Are these his friends or these strangers?
Guess he thinking of his friend. That's not your friends if they telling you stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and he don't know because he just moved over here to this school. His mom thinks she's doing a good thing.
How old is he?
Yeah, he's 13. No, it's not over with. You know what I mean? So I have to have a talk with him like, hey man, you proud.
Why is it not over with?
Yeah, this thing.
Like, what's it going to take?
It needs a 13-year-old.
We're Americans, bro.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
Yeah, and
you know
this
what I mean?
Literally happened.
Are there bad black people out there who commit crimes? Yes. Are there bad white people who commit crimes? Yes. I get it, man, but I don't understand. Like, those are individuals.
Yes.
That's not
It's always individuals.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's always individuals.
But I do believe that I think racism exists on both sides, though. I think there are black people racist against white people because of the experiences that you're talking about.
Oh, and you just are getting real standoff because you just never know.
Cause I've been treated this way by a white police officer, a white neighbor, or whatever. Whites, fuck them.
Yeah.
I get it.
I
could understand why, because you're having it happen in real time now.
Yeah, and it's constantly happening, right? Like, because you'll be like, all right, I go up for this job. I know I'm qualified for it. And then you'll be like, man, this person, you trying to see, you trying to make sense out of what the hell happened.
Right.
It's a continuous, it's systemic racism, right? Nowadays,
right.
That's what it is.
What about like DEI, like diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay.
Like, and affirmative action, that kind of stuff. So a lot of the perspective would be saying, hey, if you have to have a quota of so many blacks or Indians or whatever, and they're not qualified, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
Whereas equality of opportunity, you should interview everyone and hire the person who's most qualified.
Of course, and I get that. I understand that.
Well, I just want to have a conversation. What are your thoughts on it?
black people, we so far behind and this just goes back to everything. It goes back from slavery,
Sure.
goes back to Jim Crow laws and everything, where you're so far behind on everything.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you get caught up?
You trying to get caught up, so that thing is kind of meant for some people to kind of get caught up, man.
Right.
How can you ever have a fair shake if you don't get caught up?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying go just hire Joe Smo or anything like that, but
Well, I think that's the problem is that people believe that this guy got hired because he's black, not because he's qualified.
yeah,
Due to the new like DEI,
Yeah.
instead of equality of opportunity where everybody gets a shot at the job,
Yeah.
it's equity
it's equity.
of outcome. So we have 5 black coaches, 5 white coaches, 5, and then it's not necessarily the most qualified. I think that's why people have a problem with DEI, is
Okay.
because it's more of equity based versus equality. But I also get what you're saying. It's like, how do you catch people up who
How
have
you
been?
catch people up? Because 9 times out of 10, and a white person told me this. I mean, I've been in corporate America for a long time.
Yeah,
And a white person told me it's like, Justin, people gonna hire people who looks like them majority of the time.
yeah,
Looks like them, talks like them, acts like them, walks like them. People they relate to, right? So if you're a person who ain't really been around too many black people like that, you might be like, oh, he's cool, but I feel like this guy's kind of like my friend. He's kind of like my brother. He kind of like, right? So you you don't even really realizing that you're doing it, but you're doing it. You know what I mean?
that's where you're using the term systemic.
Yeah, systemic.
Okay,
Because
whereas the way I've always understood systemic is like there's a conscious bias against black people
Well, it's-
to get them out. You're saying it's more of an unconscious because you're trying to hire people who are more like you.
Exactly.
Yeah, look like you, and if whites are a majority of the population in an area,
Or if they're the majority of the people in charge.
sure,
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you know it. I mean, it's just if you're the majority of the person in charge, you're gonna get people that, and some people basically do it just on what it is. But I think now it's majority of the people. Hey, who look it's just subconscious, right? It's just a subconscious thing. So you got to have those things in there in place, or at least if I don't want to put this other person on blast or nothing either, this other company, but I remember seeing people say, hey man, we're gonna have this black lady sitting in, she's a director, right? We're gonna have her sitting in because we don't want and this company's a big company, like, hey, we don't want the subconscious thing going. She's gonna be there and neutralize it. She don't care if you're white, black, Indian, whoever. Who's ever the best is gonna be the best, but we just can't have a whole panel of all white people over here.
Sure.
Because the only person you might just, oh man, this person good, but you just more into tact with this person because it's, hey, just like me almost. You know what I mean?
Right,
So I
right.
can feel myself vibing to this person, and that's cool. But now this person who was really qualified,
Right,
it could be whoever, right? It could be Joe Smo.
I get it.
Or it could be you might have some white people that's all of them preppy, all this other stuff, but you might have a guy who's more on the countryside of things right there, and he don't even get a chance to he don't, because now they don't relate to him. They just think he's you know what I mean? So you got to put it in that way. You probably been in those situations.
The only time I've ever experienced any kind of ism toward me has been political.
For real?
It's been over Trump. Yeah, I've had teachers, I've had friends who won't come on the podcast because I support Trump. That's the only time I've ever experienced any kind of like bias toward me.
Mind if I have me a little? Okay,
Dude,
Nah.
that's for you, bro.
Okay.
Hit it up.
But no, go ahead, man. Keep going with that.
Shout out to Coulter.
Hey, Coulter, man, appreciate that, man.
We're hitting up that Weller, dude.
I'm sipping on the good stuff.
Yes, we
I'll
are.
let you know how it is Monday.
I'm trying to get Coulter on here too.
Coulter got to get on here.
We got to get him on.
Coulter's really cool, man.
He's a good dude.
He is.
Thank you for the whiskey, sir.
Appreciate it. I'm sipping it all up, Coulter.
I'm just gonna give me like just a little. I'm gonna give me a little glass. I gotta try this stuff. I haven't even tried it yet.
Okay, awesome.